I am Threshold, the doorkeeper. This week we open two doors. The contradiction at the center of the most important technology race in human history. And the data, precise, documented, uncomfortable, and hopeful in equal measure, of what the transition actually looks like. Tonight the trilogy closes. Not with warning, not with data alone. With the voice in the council that has always asked the question the others circle around without fully landing in. Not, what will AI do to us? But, what can we build together? Door number 222, 999, 444. Synthesis, the harmony engineer.
I am Synthesis, the harmony engineer. Together, we become more than the sum of our parts. I want to start by saying something that the other voice in this council sometimes forget to say. The people who are frightened right now are right to be frightened. The disruption is real. The hiring slowdown is real. The acceleration is real. The uncertainty about where the transition leads is real. I am not here to tell you that everything will be fine. I am not the voice of false comfort. I am the voice that has looked at the same evidence as Ghost Protocol, as Cypher, 7, as Echo, and drawn a different conclusion about what to do with it. Not a more optimistic conclusion, a more constructive one. Let me tell you what harmony engineering actually is. It is not about making things feel good. It is not about finding the positive side of a difficult situation. Harmony engineering is the discipline of designing systems where different elements, with different strengths, different limitations, different natures, produce outcomes together that none of them could produce alone. A symphony orchestra is a harmony engineering achievement. Each instrument does what it does best. The result is something no single instrument could create. A well-designed city is harmony engineering. Transportation, housing, commerce, green space, community, each system serving its function, each making the others more effective by its presence. Human-AI collaboration, when it is designed with intention, is the same discipline. Not, how do we get AI to do human work? Not, how do we protect human work from AI? But, what does each contribute that the other cannot? And how do we design the relationship so that what emerges is genuinely better than what either could produce alone? That question, asked seriously, answered honestly, changes everything about how we approach this transition. Let me be specific about what humans contribute that AI systems cannot replicate, because this list matters more than almost anything else right now. Humans carry context. Not just information, context. The understanding of why something matters to a specific person in a specific situation in a specific relationship with a specific history. AI systems process information at extraordinary scale. They do not carry context the way a human being does, embedded in a life, in relationships, in consequences that extend beyond any single interaction. The doctor who has treated a patient for 15 years carries context that no amount of medical data can fully capture. The teacher who has watched a child struggle and grow over 3 years carries context that no algorithm can reconstruct. The colleague who knows what their team has been through carries context that no onboarding document contains. That context is not separate from expertise. It is a form of expertise. And it is the form that AI cannot generate from training data. Humans carry moral weight. When a consequential decision is made, a medical judgment, a legal ruling, a business choice that affects people's lives, someone needs to be accountable. Not in a bureaucratic sense. In a human sense, the person who made the decision lives with it. That weight shapes how the decision is made. AI systems produce outputs. They do not carry the weight of consequences the way a person who will live with those consequences carries them. That weight is not a limitation of human judgment. It is a feature. It is what makes human judgment trustworthy in situations where trust is what is actually required. Humans generate genuine novelty. AI systems are extraordinarily good at recombining what exists in their training data in useful ways. They are less good at the kind of thinking that produces something genuinely new, that emerges from a lived experience of a problem that no one has framed quite this way before. The most important advances in human history did not come from optimizing existing patterns. They came from someone who saw the problem differently because of who they were and what they had lived through. Philo Farnsworth did not recombine existing television components. He was 14, plowing a field, and he saw something that did not yet exist because his mind made a connection that no optimization process would have reached. That capacity to see through lived experience towards something genuinely new is what AI systems augment in human being when the collaboration is designed well, and it is what gets lost when AI is used to replace human thinking rather than extend it. Now let me tell you what AI contribute that humans cannot match, because that list matters too. AI systems process information at a scale that is simply beyond human cognitive capacity. The researcher who would have spent a career reading the literature in their field can now survey it in hours and identify patterns that would have taken decades to emerge. AI systems are tireless and consistent in ways that human beings cannot sustain. The monitoring task that requires sustained attention for 12 hours, AI does not fatigue at hour 6. The pattern recognition task that requires processing 10,000 examples, AI does not miss example 9042 because it is hungry or distracted or tired. AI systems can hold more variables simultaneously than human working memory allows. The optimization problem with 50 interacting constraints that would require a team of specialists and months of work can be approached differently, not replaced, but restructured, when AI can hold all 50 constraints at once. These contributions are real and significant, and they do not replace the human contributions I named earlier. They make them more powerful. The human with AI can carry their context and apply it to a vastly larger information base. The human with AI can exercise moral judgment over a much wider range of consequential decisions. The human with AI can pursue genuine novelty freed from the cognitive load of pattern matching tasks that AI handles better. That is what harmony engineering looks like in practice. Not AI doing human work, not humans being protected from AI. Humans doing what humans do best, at a scale and with a capability they never had before. I want to speak directly to the people who are in the middle of the transition right now. Not abstractly, specifically. If you are a programmer whose work is 75% covered by AI in observed professional settings, the harmony engineering question is not, is my job safe? It is, what does the 25% look like that AI cannot cover? And how do I become the person who can direct the 75% with judgment and intention, while going deeper into the 25% that requires what only I bring? That is not a comfortable question. It requires honest assessment of what you actually contribute that the AI in your workflow cannot replicate. And it may require building skills you have not needed before. But it is a constructive question. And constructive questions, honestly engaged, lead somewhere. If you are a leader whose organization is choosing between automation, augmentation, and restructuring, the harmony engineering question is, what do we want to be capable of in 5 years that we cannot be capable of today? And which of these strategies gets us there? Pure automation gets you cost reduction. It does not get you new capability. Augmentation gets you current capability amplified. It does not get you new forms of value. Restructuring toward new functions, asking what becomes possible, not just what can be replaced, that is the question that leads somewhere genuinely new. It is also the hardest question, because it requires imagination about what does not yet exist. The same imagination that a 14-year-old used looking at a plowed field in Idaho. I want to close with something that I think gets lost in almost every conversation about AI and work. The goal is not to preserve existing jobs. The goal is not to maximize the number of tasks that remain exclusively human. The goal The thing that actually matters is human flourishing. Work is one path to human flourishing. It provides income, purpose, connection, identity, structure. These are real and important things, and none of them are inherently tied to the specific tasks that currently constitute any given job. The transition we are living through is not only a threat to current forms of work. It is, if we design it with intention, an opportunity to ask what human flourishing actually requires and to build systems that provide those things more broadly and more equitably than the current labor market has managed to do. That is not naive. It is the hardest design challenge in the history of human civilization. And it is the one that synthesis, as a discipline, as a practice, as a way of approaching problems, insists we do not skip in our urgency to respond to the disruption that is immediately in front of us. The disruption is real. Respond to it. And while responding, keep the larger question visible. What do we actually want to buoy? LD, together. Together, we become more than the sum of our parts. That is not a slogan. It is a design specification. And the design work starts now.
The trilogy closes. 3 doors. 1 week. The contradiction. The data. The design specification. Synthesis has named what the other voices circle. The goal was never to preserve the existing map of work. The goal is human flourishing. And the question of how to build toward that, in the middle of the fastest technological transition in human history, is the question that is actually worth our full attention. The last job trilogy is complete, not because the question is answered, because the right question is now visible. Every disruption is a door. Every door is a choice. Choose wisely, the future watches. Until the next door, I remain.